So with that, if you said better, so if God forbid now, knock on wood, anything was to happen to either one of you guys tomorrow, would you leave the family in a better situation financially?
Unfortunately, I don't think so.
No.
Okay, right, so this is why we wanna have this conversation, and we feel it's very important to have something called income protection in place, which is what we call the life insurance. And we call it income protection because when you pass away, the company's not bringing back your life. But when you die and you get a big check, now you can replace that income to your family for a period of maybe even 5 to 25 years. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you guys rate your desire, keyword there, to become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent?
10.
Perfect. So let's say you guys were gonna build your dream home, starting from scratch. Do you already live in your dream home?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. So build it from scratch. What's the first part of the home you have to build that has to be the strongest?
The foundation
Perfect. And if the foundation's not strong, what happens to the house?
becomes
Right.
crashed down.
Exactly. So just as easy as it was for you to think about that in your dream home, is the same exact thing with your financial house. We wanna make sure that the foundation is solid, and we believe that's the income protection or the life insurance, because even though we wanna save money, invest, retire, have the millions of dollars, maybe make sure our kids are taken care of for school and pay off all of our debt, if that income's lost and that's not solid, the whole house will crash. Sounds easy, right? So out of these 4 areas, Peter, what would you say are your top 2?
Income protection and retirement.
Alright, perfect, and Tia?
Same.
Same, alright, team goals here, there you go.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll go over some general information about income protection and retirement, to help you learn a little bit more about that, okay? Awesome. Anyone have questions about anything that I went over?
So why don't we go through, this part doesn't have to be in the recording, but there's a lot of good psychology that I heard in here where if people go through and listen to the recording, that's how you sound like a professional. She says a lot of good stuff. So let's go back to the beginning. And let's talk about some of the words behind the words. Number one thing I got very good at because I've always been very introverted and really nervous before presentations. I just built rapport so I could calm down a little bit, right? So I would just like throw them questions so that way they could start talking and it would give me a second to kind of get myself together. I'm very weird. This was never an easy business for me, okay? But rapport is great for that reason, right? If you're that type of person, you need a second. But it's also because it kind of brings the wall down. You don't want to just go ahead and jump right into presenting, because then that's how they feel that it's sort of like a sales pitch. But here, what does she do here? So we're basically framing the situation because the person that you're meeting with has assumptions about what's going to go on. We're taking those assumptions away and we're being very direct in terms of what we are going to be doing. Number one, what we're going to accomplish. Number one, we are hoping that you guys will be excited. To what? What did she say? Introduce us to people, names and numbers. Best thing you can do to help on who's in training is 5 to 10 numbers. I mean, look, that's dropping a very powerful seed and expectation in terms of what you want, and you're doing it right from the beginning. That's what they say in a presentation. You have to drop seeds throughout, so there's no surprises at the end. If you see value in what we do, what did you say here that you feel is important?
To see if you see any value in what it is that we're offering to families and how we help them, we love to earn your business.
Okay,
So
earn your business. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not being sales. Earn your business means what? If I can do better for you, if you're in a better place in every way than where you are right now, if you go with my plan, why wouldn't you do business with me? I want to earn business. And then of course, partnership, which is the recruiting scene. If you know anybody, you can see yourself, see anyone, whatever. Okay, let's go to the next one. Financial challenges. So here, I've always learned that going through the financial challenges is good because some people are embarrassed, especially in our area here. They have nice house, nice car, nice job, but their finances aren't really up to par, okay? And so what this does is it says, hey, everyone's struggling financially, everyone's having issues, this is how America, right? And then maybe they'll feel a little bit better, but I liked it here how she was dropping seeds in here. So what are some of the seeds that you drop in here?
I just asked questions like about GoFundMe, right? Everyone knows GoFundMe. Why do people get GoFundMes? Because people pass away with no coverage.
Okay, but that's a seed, because she's bringing up insurance again. What we're trying to do, Dimitri, is not at the end say, hey, surprise, surprise, we do insurance and we want. That's not what a good presentation is. It's leading them throughout in terms of, here's a seed, here's another seed, here's another seed, and it kind of progresses towards that. So I like that. Have you heard of GoFundMe? Why do people have GoFundMes? Because they don't have enough insurance. And you can see here, people don't have enough coverage or whatever it says here, right? Then down here, she said, a lot of people, 30% of Americans have less than 25,000. If you were at retirement and with 25,000, she said, would you be excited about that? They're gonna say, of course not. So you're getting also engagement with them. You have to ask questions throughout the presentation. I thought that was great seeds that she was dropping. And then going through the mission in terms of what we do, properly protected, that's insurance, debt-free is obviously what it sounds like, and then financially independent, which means we help people retire. Then she asks them, how do you define financial independence? And Tia had a great answer for that. So, cliche, the quality of your presentation is in the quality of your questions. When you go listen to this recording, I don't know if it got interrupted, but we did get most of it, right? She's saying it was fine. I would be writing down every question that she asks, because everything else you're just reading off a slide, right? But what questions does she ask? So here, have you heard of Primerica? When you did that, I thought to myself, I'm not asking that. And then I get a surprise at the end because I never gave them an opportunity to tell me, and then they have some story for me at the end that they've encountered Primerica. Go to her, right? And so I thought that was a great time to ask. And then what she did was she said, well, we've been around for a long time. And then the transition to go from here to the next one is, hey, maybe you haven't heard of us, but actually we're very well known and recognized within the financial industry. And I thought that was a great transition. Because what I say here, right, maybe I just haven't done this enough, but it's not that good. And so then she goes through what? She says, one of the best companies for women, we've been recognized for diversity, the A+, and then of course, we're the #1 most trusted, and then she goes through that, yes.
The previous slide, I really like that she mentioned that we were part of Citigroup for 20 years, so that's really, and that really adds more, because everybody knows
Depending on who you're talking to, Citigroup doesn't really exist anymore, but
Citi.
Citi, yes. Yeah, so you're right, if you say Citi. Okay. Next. So here, where does she go? What does she go back to even before she goes back to the referral seat? This is all just from memory, me hearing her doing it one time. But imagine if you watch the video over and over again. So before she even gets into this, she goes, hey, do you remember how I said you could help on the most? Names and numbers, how many? 5 to 10, it's being ingrained. Well, these are all the things that we do. I also like that she said, life insurance is our bread and butter. If you're hiding from that, that's not the approach you want to take, right? This is what we do. This is what we're licensed for. This is what our company does. That's how we make money, right? And of course, we do many other things as well. And then she went through all of these different things. Next. A blueprint for your financial program. So she goes through all the different things. I really like how you said, understand your coverage needs, because think about it, your life insurance policy is 60 pages. How many people have read all 60 pages of their contract? Nobody. So what we do is we actually go through the contract with you and we make sure there's no gotchas in there. You know what a gotcha is, right? Like gotcha. Right. Everyone loves their IUL until you tell them to actually read it, and then you ask them, have you read this? Were you told this? Were you told that, right? So I like how you say that here, because I think that that creates some curiosity, even if they have a product, they haven't read through it. And then the compound interest. Is $200 a lot of money? How much money do you waste? The whole thing about a financial program, it's driven by the type of financial commitment that they can make. And your ability to get a commitment from your clients towards their own freaking financial plan, right? We're not selling vacuum cleaners here. They're paying themselves. But you have to get good at getting bigger commitments from people. That's not so you can make a bigger sale, it's so they can actually reach their goals and dreams and have financial priorities. So if you don't do it the right way, and at the end you're like, hey, how much can you put towards your plan? And they say $75, that's trash. If you go out to eat right now, even the cheap places, how much does it cost for one meal? Lunch. It's almost $20.
Yeah.
It's almost $20.
Yeah.
You go to a sit down, forget it, it's like 50, 60, 80.
Yeah.
That's
And that's
lunch, right?
Yeah.
But like guys, consumer spending, listen to me, consumer spending is at an all-time high. Look at the companies that are going up in value, airlines are going up in value, hotels are going up in value, retail, people are spending crazy money, and we feel bad about getting someone to put $500 in a Roth IRA. It's their money, they're going to get it back eventually, it's going to grow. If they die, their family's going to be well off, or at least same standard of living. So this is a great way to get a money commitment from people so they can actually implement the financial plan, which is insurance, retirement, college, getting out of debt, whatever else. So how does she do that here, right? How much money do you waste a day? She didn't say, hey, I'm gonna figure out how much you can put towards your financial plan, so how much do you waste? No. Before she gets into anything, she's like, is $200 a lot? Tia said, no. Okay, remember that. How much, yeah, gotcha. So how much do you waste? And people are bragging about it, right? Between Starbucks and, you know, what are the different things we say about what you waste on? Amazon, everything, right? On a daily basis, just wasting stuff. And she goes 50. And then you do the math, okay, so $50, just you, times 30 days, that's $1,500 a month that you're wasting. So now, what they're saying is, they're wasting that much, and then you're showing them just what $200 a month could do. Imagine what 400, what 800, what 1,000 a month could come up to. Sometimes I say that to my clients. But what you've subtly done is you've gotten a money commitment, because if she's wasting $1,500 and she's already said $200 is nothing, how am I not getting $500, $600, $700 a month to put towards a financial plan? People are paying everybody else and wasting money at every other company. Why can't they give some of that money to you guys? For their own betterment. That's the mindset you got to think about, right? The upsell we have in Primerica only helps the client. When you underinsure people and you're selling $100,000 policies, 200, even honestly, even 500 now is getting to be like, kids have 500,000.
Yeah.
Meaning of it, 18, 19, get first job. Because term is cheap. We need to be encouraging people to put more money towards insurance and investments, because trust me, it's gonna go somewhere else that is not going to help them. So you know what I just realized? This dude doesn't even have a reservation at that time. We've been running out.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We're good. All right, what's next?
Gotcha.
Okay. So how did you get into
just a simple question for the new people, maybe go over it later. How long do you think it should take for somebody to go from the beginning to the house?
Like I said, it should be 3 to 5 minutes, and I wanna try to get through this part in 20 minutes. And then that way you still have 40 minutes of your hour to do the
Yeah.
rest.
So presenting should not be an hour, because then you're wasting their time and your own, right? Presenting is short, quick, concise, and that way you can get into actually catering something for them and then getting that business, right? One other thing on the last slide. What does she say here? She's a professional will overcome objections before they get them. Right? So if I'm trying to recruit you, I already know you're gonna tell me you don't have time, so I'm gonna say, hey, the good thing is you get to choose your own hours, right? You're gonna say you don't have any experience, I'm gonna say, hey, and the best part is you don't have to have any experience. Right? So if you can overcome the objections before you get them, you're going to get less objections and you come across a professional. So she said, what? And a lot of my clients, they wonder, where can you get 12%? Here's the thing, you can get 12% in a well-managed 401k just with regular mutual funds. She's not saying I'm the one who's gonna get you 12%. She's like, you can get it right now everywhere, if you knew how. I thought that was great that you did that, very subtle. Okay, so before we actually get into what are the few things that you talked about here in that, before that slide?
Before I started.
That slide, yeah.
I just said that, wanna focus on becoming financially independent, but then we wanna make sure we're protecting ourselves along the way. Is that what you meant? Or yes?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, I just transitioned into that, we wanna make sure we're protected, along the way. And then I go into, we have a couple here, both bringing in 3,500, their expenses are 7,000. Keep going, okay, and so then I say, well.
This
what do
is
you
the most
notice?
important slide, by the way.
Yes.
This is it. You either get them or you don't, right here.
So, couple young dependent children, what do you notice about their income and their expenses? It's exactly the same.
What do you know about their income and expenses? Someone sent me something on Instagram the other day, and it was a family who made their take-home pay between husband and wife. They're both like executives in New Jersey. I don't know if you saw this. It was a post someone had. And their after-tax income was 80,000. And what they had left over at the end of the month after all their expenses was 2,000. But it was legit, like nanny, this. Obviously, they're overdoing in a lot of areas, but 80 grand a month, people are right there, you know? So what do you notice about what's coming in and what's going out? It's the same.
And then what do you notice about their bills? Is there anything out of the ordinary, or is it pretty typical?
No stop.
Yeah, Starbucks, right? So just the things they gotta take care of regularly. So, and then the biggest question is, what do you think is the worst thing that can happen to this family financially? Right, a lot of people will say, what do you think is the worst thing that can happen? Always put financially, because when you say can happen, people start saying all these other things. You just want financially.
This is experience, right? So what's the worst thing that can happen financially? Now, she knows what they're gonna say first. Most people say, oh, lose the job. So she has a great way to address that. What do you say when someone says, oh, lose their job? You say,
Yeah, so that's temporary, right? Because if someone's responsible, they're gonna try to find another way. Job.
yeah,
Or it's a compliment to them, actually. You're,
Right.
I know you're.
right, if you lose your job, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get another one, right? That's what you said the first time, right? So a job, we can get another one. And then how do you go from there?
Yeah, but what's even worse than that, like the worst that you can think of?
Losing it permanently or die.
Death, right? So we eventually want them to say death. And usually after they say death, I don't know if you guys caught it, but your tone kind of has to change a little bit. Like you're not excited or you're just like, they say death and you're like, yeah. Right, and in this situation, like you become softer, because it should be an emotional, they start thinking now emotionally about that situation. And then you say, okay, well, great, if that income is lost permanently, do the bills stop anytime soon? No, they still keep coming in. Right, so what could they lose at that point, which is also on the slide? And then they start listing off everything, oh my gosh, my house, my car, no nanny, no this, no that. So that should all be keying in, like, especially if they don't have any life insurance, they're like, oh crap, what's going on? And then now you ask the question that's the hammer in the coffin, hey, if God forbid anything happened to you, and I always ask the husband first, no offense to the women, but the husband first. If God forbid anything happened to you tomorrow, would you wanna leave Tia and the kids in a better situation financially, the same or worse? Better, same, or worse? Most people will say better, and then you also always ask the spouse, same thing, vice versa. She would say better, right? Sometimes I've heard people say, just the same. And if someone says worse, they're just not responsible financially. It's probably not gonna be a good presentation.
Yeah.
But most people say better. And then the follow-up question is very similar, but now it's like, God, okay, well, knock on wood, if something did happen. So if something did happen to you tomorrow, would they be in a better situation financially? And they said no.
Okay, so what's the worst that can happen? Someone dies, right? Well, if that were to happen, if someone did die, what would they lose? And now they're telling you everything that they're gonna lose if someone dies. Well, let me ask you this. If God forbid that happened to one of you guys, would you wanna leave them better off, worse, or the same? Now they've answered all these questions. Then the last one is, well, let me ask you, today, if something did happen, given your current situation, would your wife be better off? Because you're saying you want her, I'm not saying all this, right? But this is what I'm kind of implying. You're saying you want them to be better off, but if something did happen today, would she be better off? Right? When you find that discrepancy, that's where you find a need. Because they're saying they want this, but they have this, that's where you are going to fill that gap. That's where a transaction occurs. If you're not good at asking the questions, then you're not good at finding a need, and then why would someone buy? Right? That's what sales is. It's finding a need and then filling it. You gotta get good at finding the need, and guess what? She's not saying you need it because they wouldn't be better off, and she's asking them, they're telling her. So how am I even selling you? You're telling me you want things to be better, and you just told me, but they wouldn't be. So do you want to make things better? That's how we do it. Really, really good. So we'll make a video out of this. Thank you, Shundell. Great job.